all the categories. I'm going to do predictions and say what my personal pick would be, which brings me to that question, right? Am I allowed to say what you're voting? Yes, to my knowledge, no one's ever told me. I did this last year. No one's ever been like, you can't talk about this. Like, I don't think that's a thing. Specifically because I am part of the jury within an outlet. So it's not like, we can also just take a quick glance at the juries. Because, yeah, I guess there's definitely some questions on like, how does it work? Let's see. Oh, they don't have actually how the nominees selected. Okay. So specialized juries convene over the categories. Each voting outlet completes a confidential unranked ballot based on the collective and diverse opinion of the entire editorial, listing out its top 5 choices in each category. So because I'm voting through, which do they show us the jury here? I'm voting through an outlet. Last year I voted through Kind of Funny. As you see, Kind of Funny is listed here. This year I'm actually voting alongside MinMax. They have a little bit of a smaller staff, I feel like, in some ways. So I just generally asked like both of them, like, even though also they did MinMax with 2 X's, it's MinMax with 2 N's and 1 X, but whatever. This is that hat being done. So basically, since I vote as an outlet, we among ourselves do like our own, form kind of internally, and Ben kind of collects all this stuff and tallies out things. And then that becomes the collective min-max vote. Kind of Funny operates pretty similarly. I think if I was like Jeff Gersman, for instance, maybe I wouldn't mention it, or maybe I don't know if, again, maybe I'd check like, hey, do you guys care about me talking about how I'm voting? Because I guess I don't follow the Jeff Gersman show, but I assume it's when it's a Jeff Gersman show, that's just Jeff Gersman. That's kind of my opinion on that for that reason. Like, the vote is kind of it's already like a collection, so it kind of gets like trickled down or trickled up, if that is a way to word it. But yeah, let's go over to vote now. But as far as voting too, so there's the voting that judges do, but you can also vote publicly. So all you guys watching, if you want to cast your own vote, I encourage you to do so. Public voting does take into account towards the results, just at a smaller percentage. Again, on the FAQ somewhere, they mention like how they tally out like jury weight versus like people, and giving the power back to the players. Yeah, so you guys can vote. So I actually am logged in on like one of my Twitter accounts, and that's how I'm going to be like voting or whatever. Like 10%, I think. Yeah, that's what I think too. Something like that. So yeah, let's view all the categories. I'm going to start from back to front because Game of the Year is like the biggest one. I think that's pretty clear. Some of these I'll skip over because I just don't know the stuff as well. Let me move to the main screen over a little bit. Oh, hold on, not this part. Just so you guys can see it a little bit more. And then let me crop this a little bit. Oops. Nope. Hold on, what is it? Is it Alt? Yeah, there we go. That should be pretty good. We'll see. Let me know if it gets like ridiculously cut off at any point. But yeah, so best esport. I'm not really gonna spend much time on that because I just don't know the esports scene. So like esports coach, not sure. And like you can, when we do like our collective voting too, like you don't have to put stuff for every category. Dude, no way. What's up, Absol Void? Thanks for being here. Good to see you again. I'm excited to be back. First stream in forever. Weeks, months, maybe. Best esports team summarily. I mean, part of me wants to be petty and just be like, the LA thing, like on my personal just Twitter vote. So I don't have any like big predictions for that. Yeah, like 5 weeks or something. It's been a time. Basically since the Kind of Funny Studio launched, I think the week before that was my last couple of streams. Same with best esports athlete and same with best esports game. So let's start at the first category that I actually have like general comments on, which is most anticipated game. Something that's interesting about this category, now that I'm rereading the sub description, it says recognizing an announced game that has demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward. I do think that descriptor is interesting in the sense that like Resident Evil 4, I feel like it already did what it did for the gaming medium. I don't see this remake doing anything new. though generally I think when people see most anticipated game, it's just like, what game are you most excited for? But I do think if you think about pushing the medium forward, that's becomes a little bit of a different answer. I believe it'll be my personal game of the year. I'm back 20 hours into Ragnarok. Nice. No spoilers, but hope you're enjoying it. Why isn't Spider-Man 2 on here? I think people maybe just forgot about Spider-Man 2. New glasses. Zelda Easy. Yeah, new glasses. I won't always wear these, but I do wear these sometimes. And yeah, I'm enjoying the pair. They're very comfortable. I'm not sure which I like more, Horizon or God of War. The big debate. For me, it's, you know, definitely Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. The sequel to one of the most critically acclaimed games of all time, potentially the best game I've ever played in my life, is Breath of the Wild. So the sequel I'm pretty excited about, and I think a lot of people are as well. At the same time, Final Fantasy. There are a lot of Final Fantasy stands. I don't see Hogwarts Legacy getting it. Resident Evil, I don't see getting it either. Frankly, I think this is going to come down to Final Fantasy and Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And I'm going to predict and vote that it's going to be Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I like Final Fantasy, but I don't see it pushing the game medium forward. Yeah, like I don't think a lot of people think about that subhead when they vote. Like I don't necessarily think that I was thinking about pushing the medium forward when I was like looking at most anticipated game. So who put Hogwarts on there? That's a great question. I do think with some of these listings, you know, there's been a lot of conversation around why is this game on there over all these other great games? Since you can only submit so many, at the end of the day, it's going to be a couple, like the most popular, there's going to be the most popular one, The Usual Suspects, and then whoever didn't put those, it's like, well, what were they putting? And it can feel a little, I wouldn't say random, but I think that's why sometimes we see like, you know, maybe an upset, right? Of like, oh, I wasn't expecting this to be on there, or I wouldn't have predicted this to be on there, and that game is on there. Best adaptation, I'm not gonna personally vote on this here because I don't have an opinion on them, but I think Edgerunners, I think Edgerunners might take it. That's my prediction. I feel like there's been so much hype around it, and you know, League of Legends, Arcane League of Legends also has a lot of hype, but I think Edgerunners, I just feel like I've seen more hype around it. Jenny, you gotta watch Arcane. Do I? Hype suggests Edgerunners. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So my predictions is Edgerunners, but let me know what y'all think. Stony Fish, Arcane. Is anyone well versed in these, what is it, 5 pieces of media? I think too, this sub-description is also interesting. Faithfully and authentically adapt a video game into another medium. I mean, it is interesting adapting games into TV shows. I feel like you're not really looking for replicating the story. I think if you are looking for replicating the games themselves, like narratively, I feel like Uncharted and Sonic are probably on the edge there in terms of like source material. Even though I think they're, well, people like Sonic the movie. I do think Uncharted, yeah, is the weakest link here a bit. Didn't do well at box office. I've seen 4 or 5 Edgerunners best uses a lot of game UI. That was great, made me cry. A lot of people were saying that they were like, I'm shocked that this is like, because what is it, anime, right? This is one of the best like shows I've seen in some time. That was the word in the street. Again, I did not watch it, so I don't have a big comment there. If you swap Sonic and Cuphead, that's the order for me. Yeah, I didn't watch the Cuphead show at all. Again, this is a new category also. It's the first year they're having this category of best adaptation, so I'll be interested to see just I don't know what these tend to trend towards. Again, my prediction is gonna be Cyberpunk Edgerunners. It's weird with these things because you gotta account for the general gamer taste. Only a little bit, because again, y'all can vote on this, but it does skew more towards jury, which generally is media. Best debut indie, we got Stray in the chat. Okay, so here are the nominees. We got Neon White, Norco, Stray, Tunic, and Vampire Survivors. I mean, honestly, I think Stray takes this as my prediction for the winner. Definitely could see a world where Vampire Survivors does it. There's been a lot of push around Vampire Survivors that I've heard, like just talking to peers in the industry. And by that I mean like people encouraging each other to play it. Like we just did an episode of the Min-Max show where we talked about like, hey, what do you need to play before the year's done, before we do our 210s end of the year content. And I feel like people really like Vampire Survivors, but Stray I think just has like a level of popularity and admittedly polished to the game that'll put it there. So I think it's gonna be Stray. Never heard of Norco. Norco's cool. Well, it was cool and then I hated it. I played it on stream quite a bit. I love the beginning of it. Yes, and Jacob Geller loves Norco. It is like so brilliant for its first like half. And then after that, for me personally, narratively, it kind of fell apart. Mechanically, I kind of got a little fatigued in some ways. I am streaming this weekend. I'm actually streaming with Eddie. Come through Saturday 2 p.m. PT. We're gonna be playing Outer Wilds DLC, finishing it up. And by that I mean Eddie's gonna carry me because I can't solve these freaking puzzles. Did you like? I actually liked Mothman 1966 more at the end of the day. It's a super short experience and I think it's really fun. But yeah, versus Norco. Norco has like such ambition and experimentation that I think if you like story stuff, check it out. But I did not like it by the end. I did not like it. I still remember stuff from the last time we played. Well, thank God that makes one of us. There's nothing behind these eyes, but I'm going to try to pull it together so that I want us to have fun and I don't want to be a weak link in your experience. Well, actually I am a weak link, but I want to be the strongest weak link I can be. So the VODs are interesting. I do and I don't. I honestly am really bad at putting up my VODs. Oh God, is it YouTube or YouTube for my YouTube? Okay, great. So I do have some VODs on my YouTube channel, but I've gotten into a really bad habit of just not putting them up a lot of times. This one I do plan to put up. I just haven't found like a great flow of like, okay, we're done. You know, usually I'm tired after stream. Anyway, TLDR, I have a lot of excuses, some of which are valid on why I have not been great with putting up the VODs, but I do have some on YouTube and definitely a goal for next year is to like get all of my streams in VOD form on that channel. So if you're excited to check out VODs or want to see the VODs I do have, go check it out. I have like a million saved Yakuza streams and I'm like, oh my God, what order are these in? Am I missing any? It's a whole stressful thing. For me, I gotta be honest and well, two things. One, I gotta beat Neon White. And I never played Vampire Survivors, maybe I'll try it. So that's 1 and 2. And then 3 of these games, I've played all these games except for Vampire Survivors, which I don't think is my taste anyway. I think the best game here is honestly Tunic. I need something about my VODs too. It's like, it is kind of a pain. It's less of a pain if you like care a little bit less, but I do care enough to want to do like the thumbnail and like just little stuff like that. It's silly because it's not that much work, but you know, y'all know the struggle if you create content, and I appreciate the bit of empathy there. I think you'll know if Vampire Survivors for you in the first minute. See, you say that, play it forward, but literally today, before we started recording the Min-Max show, Kyle Hilliard was like, my wife started Vampire Survivors and she plays a few minutes and says, is this supposed to be fun? And then I leave to do something for work. I come back to the living room like in an hour or two. She's playing Vampire Survivors and she's like, I love this game. So I don't know. Apparently, I'm curious about it. I gotta try it. I should at least try it. So I do love cats. And Stray is a great game, but when I really like go into my heart of hearts and I think about if I were to rank Stray and Tunic, I would give them both an 8 out of 10 or a 4 out of 5 on a 5-point scale, which I gave Tunic a 4 out of 5. Stray, I did review Stray. I actually reviewed both of these games on my outlet Pen to Pixels, which I think this is a command. Yeah, so check out those reviews for my full thoughts on Tunic and Stray. I think Tunic is a stronger 8 because what it does with the instruction booklet becomes so enriching in terms of narrative, world design, with a hint of nostalgia to it as well. I think it's super creative, and generally the exploration is pretty approachable considering it's like a Zelda-like game. Stray, I don't have too many complaints about Stray, but I do think it is kind of a straightforward experience that's really well done in the things it's trying to accomplish. So people try to diminish Stray as like, who cares, it's just a cat simulator. Yes, but it's like the best cat simulator ever, and I mean that genuinely. Like, I think it does such a great job at putting you into the perspective of the player character cat, while also allowing you, like, what's so beautiful about Stray, especially if you love cats / appreciate cats, or even like animals, I think in general, is you're both the observer and the observee in some senses, because you control the cat, you are the cat, but when you're playing, you're also watching the cat. So you get this joy of like interacting with a cat, but also being a cat in a way that feels very like well thought out, very well researched, very well executed. And I think that is Stray's brilliance, and I don't want to discount that. That being said, I think Tunic is the better game, even though it has its flaws might be a little bit more annoying. Like, I think the combat gets unnecessarily hard in Tunic and isn't that good. But everything else about Tunic is like, Tunic is such like a joyous wonder, and I think it's so strong that my vote's Tunic, but my prediction is Stray is gonna win. What's up, Kenny UFG? How's it going? We're talking game awards categories, you know, dishing on the nominees, putting out predictions, but also saying like, what would we vote for, / what will you vote for, because you can vote publicly. Just log into thegameawards.com and you can vote, and the public vote is worth 10% of the sway, so, you know, kind of fun. My hubby isn't a gamer and he likes playing Stray, big cat lover. Yeah, it's just like, it does such a good job at like giving you a little I say this too often for games, but like a playground, right? Like, it gives you like a little playground to be a cat. It's super fun. Stray made me cry at the end, so it has more than just being a cat simulator or I'm just a big baby. It didn't make me cry, but I understand the emotional weight of the game by the end, and I also felt that emotional weight. And I think, funny enough, Stray's ending, it like kind of gets a little bit like inside. Again, I don't want to spoil too much in case you haven't played it yet. Not that it's the biggest like narrative story, or like plot point story, right? Because we're gonna have our big narrative discussion. What is narrative? Blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of drama around these categories, low key, but I think there's ways to have productive and interesting conversations about it.
Solid choice with Tunic, lol.
Yeah, I like Tunic quite a bit. I'm more excited to platinum Stray and revisit Stray than I would be for Tunic, but Tunic I think is the better game. The categories, yes. Content Creator of the Year. We gotta go with Nebellion. What? Okay, so I'll be honest. I don't know any of these other people. I know Ludwig's name, and Carl Jacobs was supposed to come to the Kind of Funny studio and he couldn't. So rip to meeting Carl Jacobs, because that might have been cool. I don't know this person, and I don't know this person. So I'll be honest, I don't know everybody here. But not only do I know Nebellion's content, but also they just did so much for tracking game news. Like, they were such like a go-to source, and I don't know. Who has something bad to say about Nebellion? Nobody, because you'll be banned from the chat. Nebellion's great. But yeah, so Nebellion did leave Twitter. I don't know that there's two people, but I've heard the first two. Nebellion, yes. Rip, yeah. Love seeing Nibel here. This kind of makes me feel old. Yeah, the thing with this category, and for noms, like, I didn't put in, I forgot who I put in. I just tried to think of a content creator I knew. I just personally don't consume enough content to really put anybody here. Obviously, that's not shade to the content creators I do follow, which are mostly my peers, but I feel like I mostly just follow people I know. There's not too, and the people I'm a fan of, like, they make good work, but I don't think they've like moved the needle in a like wild way, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just wasn't sure who to put here. Like I never really, like I just, you know, I don't consume like YouTube and Twitch at the level of following these super top tier freaking faces of platform level creators. Like it's just kind of a tough one to nail down for me. But Nibel on here, yeah, I'll pick Nibelian. I liked what Timur had to say as well. Timur did a couple of tweets saying that you know, he's pushing for people to vote for Nibelian and all that. Can we vote on this? You guys can vote in this, actually. I should have put up maybe like a chat command. Even though it's like, you know, no one asked me to do this. So, like, I'm not like working with Keely or anything. But yeah, anyone, I feel like not a lot of people know about this. Anyone can vote for the Game Awards. Public vote only gets like 10% of sway.
Yeah.
Yo, welcome back. What's up, Took Us Talk? It's great to be back. Excited to be here. Love not being sick. Love not having 80 embargoed games on my plate, even though that's also its own fun. And yeah, I'm just excited to be back, trying to end the year strong, you know? So when I formally vote through min-max, which again, like my vote gets soaked up by all the other votes to make like a collective min-max vote. So I don't think like, oh, this doesn't really give away like how an outlet would vote, because my vote is one of, you know, we got a bunch of people. We got, you know, Ben, Sarah, Kyle, Kelsey, like everyone at min-max minus like people that are full-time at other outlets or something can vote on this. So yeah, should be a fun time. Okay. Next up, best multiplayer. So we have, what do we have going on here? Okay. This is for outstanding online multiplayer game and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game, genre, or platform. The nominees are Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, Multiverses, Overwatch 2, Splatoon 3, and TMNT Shredder's Revenge. This is an interesting one. Oh, man. I don't think Call of Duty is going to win, because it's Call of Duty. I just feel like it's not going to win. Some of these people love TMNT. Some of these games people fucking love TMNT. No shade to TMNT. I just don't. It's people really like it. Multiverses, people say, I guess I would vote for Multiverses, but I don't know if any of these deserve this. That's so mean. Multiverses actually had a lot of hype around it, but I feel like the people who would vote for Multiverses might be more inclined to pick Overwatch 2. Like, I'm trying to think of, and this is not knowing anything about how any single person or outlet is voting, but like I think about like Blessing enjoying Multiverses, but I'm like, I think he's more of an Overwatch 2 boy though, you know what I mean? Like, I think my prediction is Overwatch 2, and then people are going to be mad because they're like, it's just like Overwatch 1, and that's that. I think Overwatch 2 is going to win this category for best multiplayer. But I'm picking Splatoon 3, baby. Splatoon 3 is my personal choice for this. I love Splatoon. Always have, always will. Really got in Splatoon 3 this year. Obviously, Splatoon 3 and Overwatch 2 have that, like, the drama around them of, isn't this the same game? Or da-da-da. I've had so much fun with Splatoon 3. It has been so cool getting back into Splatoon again, having the Splatfest, having some new maps, like, it's just, you know, there's an energy there. And honestly, I'll be frank, I'll try to vote for Splatoon as often as I can. Obviously, I do look at, like, what I think is the best, but, and admittedly, like, I'm not an Overwatch 2 person, whatever, but Splatoon 3, I think there's fun, there's approachability. Like, I love that game. This would be my personal pick. Again, I'm not a multiplayer expert, but I've dabbled in some of these, and I think Splatoon 3 to me is the best game on here, but I also I will say that I don't understand Overwatch enough to really have a critical comment on whether it's good or not or amazing or whatever. Splatoon 2 was talking to them for 3 days and I haven't heard anything about it. Yeah, but those 3 days were so good, and for that reason I vote for Splatoon 3. I'm not gonna lie, I think my voice is like, I have to re-warm up to talking this much because I just did a podcast today too. So let me take a second here to make sure I'm not going too hard on my vocal cords. Splatoon 3 is only one I still consistently hear about. It depends, so different circles, you know, but yeah, I love Splatoon 3. I gotta play more Splatoon 3, actually. It's very fun. Okay, hold on. Whew. By the way, if you still have Truly, oh my god, you can have all the fucking Trulies play for it. I have so many fucking Trulies. You have no idea. That is so exciting. I will give you all of these fucking Trulies because we don't want any of them. They're just sitting in our apartment. That would be a big help. They're not good though, is the thing. Some of them are good, but I think all the good ones have been drank. I think we just have the weird, bad flavors. Because when Forza Horizon was 2022, no, that was indeed last year, and it was last year. It was IGN's Game of the Year. I think it was Forza Horizon. Yeah. So here we got best sports game or racing game. The grand debate: should these be in the same category? Probably not, but you know, I mean, racing is a sport, but then also, why'd you have to have it to be separate? I'm broke, free alcohol is free. I feel you, man. I've been there. The only one I played was IR World, so I guess I'd vote for that. Oh, so spoilers for my vote. I'm fucking 100% voting for Ollie World. And that says a lot, because you guys know I love me some fucking FIFA. And any other year, I would vote for FIFA. But Ollie World is definitely my vote. Full transparency and disclosure, I did do a mock review for Ollie World for Rule 7/Private Division. So throw that out there. It doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't. It's the same as doing a regular review, but just you do it earlier for the place instead of for the public. So make of that what you will. For that reason, I don't like to go too long on Ollie World just because of the technical conflict of interest in that sense, or potential like view of conflict of interest. But I freaking love that game, and I was shocked because when I went to go mock review it, I was like thinking, oh, I played some of the other Ollie games, and they didn't really click for me. I thought they were a little too hard in terms of like combo memorization. Ollie World is a game I freaking love. I think Rule 7 totally nails good feeling in skate movement, skate culture through the customization. They have like, there is a real magic to Ollie World that I think few games can pull off. There's like a joy, and it's funny because there's in the game they talk about like Nirvana, like GNAR, like gnarly, like, oh, reach the best skaters can reach Nirvana, and it's like this transcendent moment of like, you know, kind of like Nirvana, right? And this game is truly centered on Nirvana in that it creates that for you as a player. Like, again, without going too long on my love for Ollie World, there is a part of that game where you can skateboard on a billboard that's held up by giant bees. You know, you can pop unicorn balloons in that freaking game. That game is awesome. So I'm voting for Ollie World on this. It takes a lot for me not to vote for FIFA on this every year in every capacity because I freaking love FIFA. And FIFA 23 is great. Like, I have really loved... well, first of all, they have fucking Ted Lasso in there and their team. That's awesome. Richmond FC. So there's some playfulness there. It's their first year having women's leagues. So to clarify that to people, they've always had women in the game. Like, the women's U.S. national team and other national teams were in the game, but not leagues. So, like, for instance, MLS, Major League Soccer in America, that's a league. Premier League, that's a league. Like, those are different leagues. They didn't have women's leagues before. This is the first year that they have women's leagues, and they don't have that many. I wish they had more, but, like, that's amazing, and an incredible addition. They, I think, have added stuff to, like, a reactive pitch where, like, the field gets torn up a little bit more the longer you play on it. There's just a lot of great little touches with FIFA. Is this the last year it'll be called FIFA? Correct. This is the last year it'll be called FIFA. Next year it will be oh god, what is it? EAFC, right? That might be wrong. Let me know in the chat if you remember FIFA's new name. But yeah, FIFA 23, fantastic game that I haven't actually played as much as I would have wanted to. But I love FIFA every year. EA Kicky Ball, yes. But genuinely, I do think FIFA makes improvements every year, especially to the casual player. I know people have beef with the, you know, my team or whatever the fuck. I don't do any of that, okay? So I don't have comments on that. Hey, what's up, Kimbo? So thank you for the sub. So yeah, anyway, that's my little rant on FIFA 23. I love FIFA 23, and I think I talk about it on one episode of PS I Love You towards what we're playing, so try to search for that if you want to hear more about FIFA. Like, both me and Bless talk about it at length for a little while, I think, on that episode. So anyway, but the question is, what do I think is going to win? Oh my god, I'm going to say, actually, I'm going to predict and vote for, actually, shit, do I want to predict Ali Ali? To me, I think Gran Turismo has a chance of winning. Man, but like, it's all of, you know what? I'm going to be bold. I'm going to vote and predict that Ali Ali World's going to win. And the reason I think Ali Ali World has a shot at winning this is because it is a game that everyone can play, and I don't think F1 22, FIFA 23, 2K 23, or Gran Turismo 7 has as much reach. I think if Ali doesn't win, I would guess it's Gran Turismo, because Gran Turismo is a PlayStation exclusive that kind of got a lot of attention as like, this is a really amazing game. Because the other ones are kind of annualized, fall into the background. The people that play FIFA 23, play 22, 21, 20, you know, we play every year. 2K, same thing. F1, I imagine similar. Gran Turismo 7 and Ali Ali World are the only games where people might be like, oh, this is one that I dig into, and I think it has a wider appeal to more players. A lot of us, if not all of us, play racing games to some degree. Not all of us play, I think, basketball, soccer, or more like, well, I guess F1's also like that kind of hardcore racing, but you know, I think the other franchises are a little bit more niche. Gran Turismo is still niche, but it's a little bit more, I think it captures a little bit of a wider audience than like FIFA 23 does. And by that I mean in terms of like a normie gamer whatever audience, because obviously those games sell really well. I don't want people to think, oh, no one plays FIFA. Everyone plays FIFA. But when we think of like the people that are the outlets that are on these juries and stuff, I know plenty of people that do play those games. You know, Blessing plays FIFA, da-da-da. But I think the wider reach is Gran Turismo and Ali Ali. And so I'm going to be bold. I'm going to predict Ali Ali even though it's an indie game. So maybe people didn't get around to it. I don't know. People weren't happy with Gran Turismo though. What is true? I think it scored pretty well though, is the thing. Let me look up the Metacritic. Gran Turismo 7 Metacritic. I know the Metacritic isn't everything. 87. I feel like it scored pretty high. But yeah, I'm gonna say Ali World. We'll see. GT7 was great. There was a big noise with the monetization, but it ended up not really being a big deal. They review bombed it because of the microtransactions. Okay, cool. 87 is a good score, but it's no Marvel Snap. No, I mean, people were loving Marvel Snap. Best sim/strategy. Neens, if you're still around, 2 Point Campus. That's all you, man. There we go. I don't know if you still ended up playing that game more, Neens, but I know you were pretty into it at the time. I don't know any of these. Well, buckle up, Babsel. We're going here. Is the voting more international or US based for the Game Awards? I feel like it's more US based, like at least the jury. Like, just take a hot second here. Like, do they have like Eurogamer here? Yeah, I think these are all like US based outlets. Oh, here's UK. They got the UK Gaming Bible. Oh, they have some global. Okay, so it is global, but I do think, I mean, it's global. I'm just gonna say it's global, right? Like, I'm not sure if there's like how many more outlets from those locations, but yeah, it's global. Oh, I remember 2 books of your stream. Yes. Isn't Dune Spice Wars coming out in a few days in early access? I'm not sure about Dune Spice Wars. Full disclosure too, there are games on here that like you might be wondering, like spoilers for the Game of the Year stuff. Oh, how'd God of War get on all these categories if like it just came out? You can still like submit games that you are playing that haven't released yet, but that's a very like tight window, obviously. And I actually found myself like withholding, like submitting to Ben what I was gonna, like my answer. I was like, hold on, let me finish God of War first. Cause like, again, I don't want to get too into it because I know people are still playing it, but pretty early on to me playing it, I'm like, I think this is gonna be on my list for a lot of things, a lot of categories. And then when I beat the game, I was like, yeah, this game's very good. I want to nominate it for a lot of things if possible. But that's tough because it's like, oh my god, it's right under the wire. And some games didn't quite make it. Like, I know, like, games are coming out now that aren't on, like, the stuff. It's like, oh, that might be because no one played it, you know? But I don't know if it's even out under access yet. Again, I'm not sure about Dune Spice Wars specifically, so I can't comment on that. But I just wanted to give an example on how that could have happened. But I don't know, because I'm not engaged with Dune Spice Wars, and I'm just not sure. But, you know, y'all feel free to, you know, Google it and see if any answers come up. But this is Best Sim / Strategy. And we got... What do we got here? We got... Wait, Dune Spice Wars. Don't know what that is. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Total War Warhammer 3, 2 Point Campus, and Victoria 3. I don't know Victoria 3 at all. I've never heard of Victoria 3 actually, or Dune. Gotta be Sparks of Hope, right? I am gonna say yes. That's my prediction, and then I think it's my vote too. I feel a little bad because I don't like know all of these games. 2 Point Campus was fun. I played a bit of it. Dune came out in early April. Okay, is it Elvac? Elvac? Let me know how to pronounce in the chat. But yeah. Got it. Oh yeah, Joe's meme. Okay, cool. So then, never mind. That was already been out. Yeah, prediction and vote. Fantastic game. Haven't beaten it yet. Still, did my review in progress up on my website. Loving it. If you like the first game, this one's better. There you go. It is a really, really enjoyable game. I might try to play it more tonight, actually, since I have it on Switch. You know, I can just obviously hang out. Pretty easy to pick up. Okay, best family game. Y'all already know this category sends me into spirals every year. The best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. I want to know why Mario plus Rabbids is on here. It's not multiplayer. And I don't think it's family friendly. Like, it's a freaking tactics game. You want to sit around the TV and watch someone play and talk to someone playing a tactics game? Yeah, it's all Nintendo games except for Lego Star Wars. That can be played kind of anywhere. This is always just Nintendo games. Nintendo. I mean, this is like a Ubisoft game, but it's on Nintendo only, you know? Come on, y'all. If you didn't have an answer, you could have just not voted. Like, we didn't need to put this in here. I don't have kids, you know. I have family, but I don't have kids. When it comes to family games, obviously, like, I actually have played Splatoon 3 a lot with my family. But I think I'm gonna vote for Kirby just because I think Kirby, you know, because this doesn't have, if this had split screen, I might pick Splatoon 3.
You have Bruce.
I do have Bruce, and thank God for that. Is it just a game rated E? Honestly, it might as well be. What? That new Kirby game was yawn. It was amazing. You're tripping. Did you beat it? I get if you didn't beat it because maybe you didn't like it, and I understand that. It gets better and better. You can freaking fish in that game. You can bake cakes and shit. And it's just, the design is superb. It's such a good game. When you're here, your family. I adored Kirby, but didn't try. The co-op sucks in Kirby is the thing. It always sucks because it's Banana Waddle Dee. It's like you and Banana Waddle Dee, and it's always like you get to do everything as Kirby, and Banana Waddle Dee just freaking sits there like a rock, and he just walks around. But if you have a kid that can't really play games, that could be fun for them being Banana Waddle Dee, or maybe whatever, right? I do think Lego Star Wars might win this category because, like, it's a simple, fun, family fun game. But I actually didn't like Lego Star Wars. I tried playing it, and I'll be honest, I kind of hated Lego Star Wars. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is so tough because I think Kirby's like the best game on here in a lot of ways, but the more I think about it, it's just not a good family game, though. But this isn't a good family game either. I mean, I played this a lot with my family. I have to think it through. And also, I have time before I have to submit my real jury member votes. This is me kind of just like priming myself for where I stand right now. I mean, I'm just gonna click on Kirby, I think, for the sake of this public vote. Like, why not? But I have to think about this a little bit more. But also, like, why should I think about it? It's a, like, silly category. Like, the category is not well made. Is appropriate for family play. But, like, what does that mean? Like, you like my mom walks in on me playing this game. Appropriate for family play? Like, what does this mean? Switch Sports is the most, like, family-centric game. But yeah, like, I don't know. Yeah, like, you don't have to play awkward moments when people walk in. Let's just click on Kirby for now. F it. What do I think will win though? I'm gonna say Kirby's gonna win because I think people are gonna want Kirby to get his flowers. And not that Kirby is a bad family game, but I'm not sure it's the best family game on this list. But it's the best game on this list, just maybe not the best family game on this list. So I'm a vote Kirby for now, and I'm gonna predict Kirby as well. Something like kid friendly, right? Games like Madden are probably for yeah, it's like it's supposed to be kid friendly. I'm like, who's playing Mario plus Rabbids as like a 5, 6, 7-year-old kid? That game's complicated. I mean, it's approachable for what it is, but anyway. Best fighting. Okay, here's where the drama starts. Eddie, put a poll in the chat. Is Sifu a fighting game? Because that's been the big conversation around this. And when I saw Sifu on here, I was like, why is this on here? This is not a fighting game. But it is nominated for best fighting game. And I know people are going to say, well, there's fighting in it and it's very fighting focused and da-da-da-da. This is not a fighting game. You don't fight anyone. You just fight the characters. It does fit the description. It does. The best game designed around head-to-head combat. But you're not going head-to-head. You're going heads. You're going head-to-heads. Because you're not fighting one person. You fight one person when it's the boss. So actually, I rescind that. It doesn't fit this category. You're not going head-to-head. Now, granted, I will say Smash could be in here. And Smash, you don't always go head-to-head. You can fight multiple people. But I can't 1v1 someone in Sifu. Is he add the I think so. But it's I don't think it should have been in here. But that's in here. So we're just gonna I'm just gonna ignore that it's in here, to be honest, because I don't think it should. It does not. Well, this is tough because now they put it in here, but it's not the best fighting game. Like, if you are like, I want a good fighting game, and I gave you Sifu, you'd be like, this isn't what I meant. You didn't understand the assignment. It's giving, my uncle went to GameStop, and I said I want a new fighting game, and he brought me Sifu, and like, you could still have fun, but like, it's not correct. Like, right answer, wrong answer, right formula, or something, or it's something's there. Yes, because it's a great game. For here, I'm actually gonna skip this one because I don't have a big comment on fighting games, but I did want to just talk about Sifu being on here and that's how I know this isn't a fighting game, because I played this game. I didn't play any of these other games. That's how I know it's not a fighting game.
Sifu is a fighting game because they took all the player data from Absolver to make it.
Oh my god. It's a game about fighting. Shrug. Anyway. 10-2 of y'all say it's not a fighting game, which you are correct. It is not. But that's the number one reason you know it's not a fighting game, because I played this game and I didn't play any of these other games. That's how you know it's not a fighting game. If it was a fighting game, I wouldn't have played it. That brings us to RPG. Yeah, like if it was a different game, yeah, it would be like you'd put the same mechanics and make a fighting game that's Sifu. Okay, so prediction: Elden Ring's gonna win, obviously. I only played a little bit of Triangle Strategy. I didn't play Live Alive or Xenoblade, actually. I'm weak on this category. I'm going Pokemon. I genuinely loved Pokemon. Pokemon's great. And Arceus was a nice deviation from the formula. Yeah, we're rocking with Pokemon, but Pokemon's not gonna win. Elden Ring is gonna win 100%. It's not even close. So I would be shocked if Elden Ring does not win this category. Best action adventure. We got A Plague Tale, Requiem, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Tunic. I'm gonna say God of War is gonna win, and I also vote for God of War. God of War is the best game on here. Don't Bash Ash, and maybe some other people chimed in with this. We're talking about like, oh, God of War versus Horizon. Which do I like better? Which do I think is better? I love Horizon Forbidden West. I love Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon's quite possibly one of my favorite franchises ever. I'm excited for more Horizon. I'm eating Horizon up. I love Horizon. I platinumed both games. Playing God of War Ragnarok, and again, I'm not gonna spoil anything. Beating God of War Ragnarok, playing God of War Ragnarok, I saw a lot of things that it did better than Horizon, like 1-to-1. I was like, oh, this is like what it means to successfully execute this idea. Well, not just successfully execute it, because I think Horizon was successful in its execution of a lot of its ideas, but it's like, this is what it means to really take an assignment and knock it out of the park at that next upper echelon level. And I love Horizon, but Horizon's just not there yet, you know? It's a 9 and God of War's a 10. And that's a seemingly small difference, but the gap between those is secretly like monumentous. Not Horizon's fault. Horizon's a great game, but you put God of War in any of this, and I'm voting God of War. God of War is just the best thing I've played by like a mile. By a country mile. I cried about 2 dozen times with Ragnarok. I don't connect with the characters on Horizon. Horizon, we talked about that a bit on, I don't know if it was a spoiler cast for Horizon or just the review, but that's definitely a problem with Horizon. Like, it has emotional stuff and some great story elements for sure, but like, Aloy is just such a robot, you know? Like, and I know part of that is her character, but just like, there isn't enough like oomph behind like the stuff going on. Like, there's not enough. It doesn't like the writing, and maybe even to some degree the acting doesn't like deliver on the drama that we're being sold. It's like, you know, you get it, and it's like it's good, but like you've had better. You know what I mean? Of the same dish. That's what it feels like getting Horizon. Big spoiler. Yeah, she's a robot all along, right? I don't know how to explain it, but God of War and Horizon are so similar, but just on different. Yeah, 100%. Because like, and again, I love Horizon, but especially like looking at God of War, again, only gonna talk about kind of marketing aspects of it or whatever, of there being like Kratos and, you know, Atreus, and like if you think back to even like 2018, it's like there's Brock and Sindri, and there's like these other characters, and I think, you know, God of War Ragnarok introduces new characters and also fleshes out existing ones a bit more. Horizon's kind of very much the same in that sense, right? We have, oh my god, I forgot their names, but you know, she said these are the 2 dudes that she rolls with and stuff like that. But like the idea of having a party, like the Horizon parties that you like interact with and the God of War ones, like there's such a deeper like richness and thorough explanation. Like Horizon on so many ways feels like really good surface level. It's almost like Horizon's like really good fast food, and God of War is like that mom and pop food truck, and I'm like, oh my god, obviously you can get a freaking delicious you know, for all my folks in the LA area, if anyone's watching from LA, it's like, I love, you know, Raising Cane's. It's delicious. Recommend it to everybody. But at the same time, like, it's not as good as like the BDS taco truck. You know, it just isn't. Like, it just isn't. Maybe Horizon's not quite as good as Raising Cane's, because Raising Cane's is really good. But it kind of reminds me of that. You know what I mean? Definitely a larger discussion we had, Horizon versus God of War Ragnarok. But see, but Cane's only needs the 3 items on the menu, though. And I do think Horizon, I guess, we're trying to think of what food is what. like Ted Farrow right now, what food is what, but like you only need 3 items on Raising Cane's. You just get the chicken fingers, the freaking bread, and that's it, baby. That's all you need. Like, what do you mean? Like, that's everything. Anyway, we could go on these tangents for a long time, but yeah, like I absolutely adore Horizon, but like God of War, it felt like they did the same project, and like God of War is just so much better, and they're both getting like an A, but at the same time, like one of them, I'm like, holy cow, this blew me away. The other one's just like, oh, it's very good. Best action game: Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Neon White, Sifu, TMNT. This is tough because I haven't played Bayonetta 3. I think Bayonetta 3 has a real shot at this category. Again, I don't think Call of Duty is going to win. I think Call of Duty is there because someone ran out of ideas, and they're like, no direct shade to Call of Duty because I haven't played Call of Duty, but I just feel like it doesn't. I don't know. It's not raw. We know Call of Duty at this point. So if it was every category, yes, an action game and a fighting. It's that broke me, Trufo. That broke me because how is Sifu also? How is it both two different? How is it 2 different genres? Come on now. I want Neon White to win something, but I honestly couldn't predict this one. Yeah, Neon White I did really enjoy. I have to beat it still, but I hated the story of Neon White, but I love the action of it and the movement. It was really superb. I think it's tough because like, how do people really feel about Bayonetta 3? I feel like Bayonetta 3 didn't get a lot of fanfare from media. That's just my vibes on my timeline. I follow very specific people, so you know. But it did get a good amount of critical acclaim, I think. Like, let me look up the Metacritic of Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta 3 Critic. 87? It's pretty high. I'm gonna predict that Bayonetta 3 gets this. I haven't played Bayonetta 3 yet, so I have to try to play that before I vote on this formally. At least taste it, you know, get a sense of it. But for right now, with my current knowledge, I think I'll put Neon White. I do want to go back to Sifu as well to really get a sense of it, but I feel like Neon White, I love games that invite you into difficulty but allow you to finish even without mastery, and that's something I think Sifu was really lacking, specifically at launch. I know it's since updated with difficulty settings, and I have to check those out. I do really want to, but that's kind of, I feel like it's baked into the design of Neon White in a way that's not with Sifu, and I think it kind of hurts Sifu in a sense. Even something like, again, I get like, you want hard game to be hard. I think there's a place for that, but I also feel like Sifu didn't have certain things I was looking for even in that launch, even without difficulty settings, which is like better tutorialization, better training areas. I didn't like those aspects of it, even from the jump. Sifu hurt my hands so good. Yeah, the hand hurting games, it's tough for me to do those at this point because I'm very precious about my hands, because I know so many writers, games media people that have gotten carpal tunnel. I personally know at least like 2 or 3 people that have gotten carpal tunnel, and that's just the people I know about, and it can be very debilitating, so I'm a little bit additionally cautious about that. I try to do a lot of like stretches and things when I'm starting to feel that pain, but fortunately now with the kind of work I do, it doesn't happen as often as it once did, but definitely something I'm mindful of. So yeah. Okay, best VR/AR. I'm probably gonna skip this one too because I don't think I know it enough. We got After the Fall. Oh, I remember this game. Among Us VR, Bone Lab, Moss Book 2, Red Matter 2. I'm not gonna vote in this one right now because I have kind of fallen off of VR because I have an Oculus Quest 1 and some games are exclusive to 2 and all these other things. I'm gonna say Moss Book 2 though, because it has the biggest like name to it. Maybe Among Us VR, but my prediction is Moss Book 2. Greg Possessing My Body, Moss Book 2. I don't know if Greg did play Moss Book 2 actually. Innovation and accessibility, recognizing software and or hardware that's pushing the medium forward by adding features, tech, and content help players, help games be played and enjoyed by even more. I mean, I think God of War Ragnarok. I'm by no means an accessibility expert, but from all that I've kind of looked at in terms of the conversations around these games, I think God of War Ragnarok is doing a lot of great things with accessibility. I do know Last of Us Part 1 also brings in a lot of accessibility from Part 2 into Part 1. However, specifically thinking back to Steve Saylor's TikTok review of Last of Us Part 1, which follow Steve on TikTok. I think he might just be Steve Saylor. Let me see if he's Steve Saylor or Blind Gamer Steve. Let me see. He is Blind Gamer Steve on TikTok, and he did a video that was talking about how, like, when he talks about Last of Us Part 1, he says one issue on why it doesn't feel quite as accessible as Part 2, even though they have a lot of the same features, is Part 2 was made with it like it was like in the design there's accessibility incorporated into the core design of the game in a way that wasn't the case with Last of Us. So when Last of Us Part 1, aka the remake, came out, and it pretty much is kind of that one-to-one, the way he described it was like the feeling of like the implementation of it isn't as smooth as it is in Part 2. The whole circle instead of smash was a game changer in Ragnarok. Yeah, that's always a good addition. And for me, like, I'm just, I don't tinker with too many accessibility settings usually, but y'all know as soon as I got that game, I was increasing that subtile size, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. I do have to wear wrist braces to play. Yeah, I gotta keep your hands healthy. For sure. Hands and wrists. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna say God of War Ragnarok. And I think that'll win. Best community support. I'm going Fortnite for this because I'm a Fortnite stan. Fortnite finally got me. It took many years, but 2022, and I love Fortnite. I will say though, I don't really. I mean, I'm in the community because I'm a player, but I'm not like. Okay, this is recognizing game, frustrating community support, transparency, responsiveness, inclusive social media activity, and game. I can't comment too much about like transparency and responsiveness is kind of my gap here, but I do think in terms of game updates and patches, Fortnite freaking kills it. So Fortnite for me. People are saying Final Fantasy 14, or not 14. Yeah, 14. Honestly, I think that might win. Oh, but Apex Legends is here too. Oh, Destiny 2 is also here. People love Destiny. I don't think No Man's Sky is winning. I'd be a little surprised if No Man's Sky won. No shade to No Man's Sky. I just feel like there hasn't been. It is the same nominations every year. You can see the same games just are like doing it. I'm gonna say. I feel like Final Fantasy. Isn't this the year of the meme about like play Final Fantasy, or am I mixing that up with something else? I think my prediction is Final Fantasy. I feel like the Final Fantasy nerds have been very loud this year, and I think they're going to show up for this thing. So yeah. Best mobile game. Another gap for me. I think Marvel Snap. Marvel Snap's going to win. I don't even need to talk about it more. I'd be shocked if it didn't. I do feel like it kind of like, it dropped and people were eating it up. People were living for it. Having a stream off the church. Have a good time, True. Thanks for stopping by. Marvel Snap, call it a flash in the pan if you want to, but that flash is bright. It's fucking bright as fuck. And for that reason, like, I think that Marvel Snap's gonna win. Which also, I might try to play Marvel Snap before I vote. There's always tough when, like, I haven't played a lot of these categories, so I might still maybe skip this one for my own personal, like, official voting, because I don't think I'm that versed in the category, so I don't know. Best indie. This is where we roll, y'all. We got Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic. Banger. Probably a banger, but I'm not good enough to play it. Banger. All bangers. Okay. I'm leaning on Cult of the Lamb, and it's not official, so I'll probably just vote for it here. I really want to beat it because I haven't beaten it yet, but I love that game. Obviously they sent it to me, so it's like there's that. But I put the little lamb over here. because I love him. I am obsessed with the Twitch integration on this game. I am enjoying the combat. I love the sim elements. I'm loving Cult of the Lamb. Tuka says he'd take Neon White. Other people were saying Cult of the Lamb. First year I played every indie game on this list. Well, congratulations. Same for me, though. I have not beaten... I've only beaten 2 of these. So I'd like to go back to Sifu. See if I can beat it. Go back to Cult. I'd love to go back to all of these. I don't know if I'll have time to before I have to officially vote. But I'm going to try. So, yeah, I'm going to go Cult of the Lamb for now. Like I said, I'd like to beat this, and I'd ideally like to beat these 2 before. But I'm not sure how much time I have left. I don't have a lot of time left, so I don't know how much further I'll get. Best ongoing. We got Apex Legends. How is this not... See, this is like the community support. I feel like community support and best ongoing are the same thing. Unless they're trying to talk about specifically the... I guess they mean like the social media aspect of it, but I feel like this is the same thing. I'm going Fortnite again, and I'm also predicting Final Fantasy again, yeah. Okay, games for impact. Woo, there's some stuff around this category. Okay, so, I mean, this category always has had this problem for many years. Where, so this is for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. Pro-social, I looked it up. It like basically boils down to like, was it like pro-people kind of, or like humanity or whatever? I don't know. It's like, oh, it's like value. Let me Google it actually, because I'm butchering it. And I do want to talk about this briefly. I did tweet about this. Pro-social definition. So it means relating to or denoting behavior which is positive, helpful, or intended to promote social acceptance and friendship. Yeah, positive vibes. So I shared out or quote tweeted an article on Kotaku about this category, like criticizing this category, saying like, oh, this category doesn't have any meaning, and here's like why and why that's bad or whatever. I do think this category needs to be revamped. I see what they're trying to do. I do frankly feel like this category is almost games for social justice, but maybe they didn't want to use the phrase social justice because 1, it's a bit more narrow, and 2, it is polarizing. A lot of gamers hear social justice and they're like, this is woke games, blah, blah, blah. And that just is what it is. So no, I didn't play Endling. I want to though. It looks awesome. Hindsight and I was a teenage ex-colonist. I have both of those games. I just haven't played them yet. This one I haven't beat. Funny enough, the only game I beat was Memoir Blue, and I hated it. So, like, that's just bad luck. But I've played half of these entries. For now, based on my playtime, when about the games, I'm going Citizen Sleeper for now. But even with Citizen Sleeper, I don't know if it's like... I mean, it's definitely a thought-provoking game. It's very thoughtful. Yeah, that's... Also, too, like, it's funny because... I guess I think that's what the category leans a little bit on social justice, but at the same time, it's like a weird. It ends up being like posy vibes, feelings hour game because like Memoir Blue is like very much like that character's personal journey about like I kind of forget the details because like I played it, I deleted it, like I was kind of just like whatever. But like it's not necessarily like a pro-social message, or I feel like I think Florence was up for this category many years ago potentially, and it's like it's just too vague, you know? It's a little too vague. Like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like it needs to be revamped, but I kind of get what they're trying to do, but I do think this ends up falling into, you know, the stereotypes we have around what indie games are, which is like, you know, oh, it's feeling sour. And even though it is often feeling sour, the fact that there's no AAA games in here is a little telling. Yeah, Inside wouldn't be on the list because it's like people always think about it more like games that are warm and fuzzy, which honestly, if you had a warm fuzzies category or like best cozy games or something, I wouldn't mind that as much because at least it can be more specific. I think Games for Impact has all these weird things caught up of like, I mean, are the other games not impactful? Like, you know, it's just it gets kind of muddy. I think Citizen Sleeper will win this. It's my vote for now, but I don't love it because I don't think it fits the category perfectly either, but it is a fantastic game. From what I've played of it, I haven't finished it yet. Yeah, Elden's critique of the Empire. Exactly. Like, I don't know. You can make an argument for a lot of things. Best performance. I feel like I want to zag and go with Sunny with God of War. Honestly, I'm kind of bummed that, obviously no shade to any of the actors here, but like I really would have wanted to see, why am I blanking on her name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. The woman that plays Freya. I would have loved to see Freya on this list. And when I played God of War, Christopher Judge does a fucking great job. You know, these are all like incredible actors. I haven't played more Immortality yet, so I might wait. Again, my official vote, I still have a little bit of time, like as a judge, but I could see Immortality that hitting. But yeah, like I don't know, like Freya was my favorite role voice acting wise in God of War, so anybody else is just gonna be like other people that I fuck with for it. Also, Plague Tale Requiem up for a lot of stuff, so I might need to play that because a lot of people seem like they're really hot on it. But yes, Freya did get snubbed. And what else was I gonna say? I think God of War is gonna not God of War. I think Christopher Judge is gonna win this for as Kratos. That'd be my guess, because usually it's just like whoever voiced somebody in Game of the Year is who wins this, I feel like, for the most part. I've only had the opposite. Well, yeah, I'm seeing in all these categories like people were fucking with it. It's low key, I guess. Audio design, I'm sad that Stray's not in here. I actually think audio design is one of Stray's best features. I don't have a comment on the audio design of Elden Ring because I didn't play enough of it. I guess for this I go God of War, and I predict God of War, but you know, I'm not like, because in my mind my idea was Stray. God of War has good audio design for sure. I mean, I played it with actually, you know, I mean, I'm a lot happier about that, I think, than I'm letting off. It's just that I love Stray's audio design a lot. But God of War, I did play the entire thing with headphones on, which is a rarity for me. I think that does speak to the enjoyment of the sounds of that game. I did it with the 3D audio. I was pretty into it. I forgot how much everyone at Kind of disliked it. Yeah, everyone thought it was very mid, except for me and Barrett. But yeah, so God of War definitely hits for sound design. Horizon hits a bit as well, but I do think there are times where like stuff like there are certain contact moments in Horizon that sit funny with me. Stuff like, I'm just making this up because I don't remember the exact moment, but like, oh, I like hit, you know, I used my staff to hit like a rock, and the sound it made just didn't feel like the sound it should make. Either it was too loud or just not the right pitch. Like, the good sound design in Horizon for sure, but there were a couple moments that stood out to me negatively for that with Horizon, which is why I wouldn't pick Horizon for this. But yeah, I'll go God of War. I'll go God of War. And I think God of War will win. Best score in music, I think Elden Ring might win this. Actually, I think Elden Ring will win this, but let me know if I'm way off base. I don't know much about the score for Elden Ring. Oh yeah, watch out with those spoilers. I mean, we can always delete messages if needed, but you know, better if we don't have to. I was a little surprised to see Metal Hellslinger on here, but I get it because it like you know, they made like this like freaking metal soundtrack for it. I like the music in God of War actually quite a bit, but I will say the themes don't resonate as strongly as they do in other games. I'll personally vote God of War, but I predict Elden Ring will probably take this category. Best art direction. I do think it was cool that Scorn was in here because it does have really striking art direction. Even though I like hated the gameplay of Scorn, I hated the actor playing Scorn. Like I do not like Scorn. Stray has really art direction's tough because it's like, okay, because it's creative and or technical achievement, I'm gonna have to go God of War, and I think actually, frick, will Elden Ring win this? I think God of War might win this. Actually, I'm gonna vote and predict God of War because it looked so beautiful and performed so well, and I think Everyone says Elden Ring looks beautiful. I looked at it and didn't think it looked that pretty, to be honest. That's just me. I know I'm in the wrong. I know people are going to say, I don't have whatever. I just didn't think it actually looked that good, but everyone else thinks it looks gorgeous, so maybe I'm way off base, but I think Ragnarok will get this because it is a very beautiful game. And there are also a lot of, obviously they're going for different things, but there are a lot of moments if you play through all of God of War. Like there is, again, no spoilers, but there is a moment in God of War where you look at something and I swear to God, it's so beautiful that I was almost moved to tears gazing upon its beauty. I'm not bullshitting you. You'll know it when you get there. It's in the main story. I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. Like, oh my God, like it was so pretty. And like photo modes and I was screenshotting it. It looks so cool. And even outside of the moment that I'm thinking of, again, if it's the main story, you probably do know what I'm talking about. But even outside of that, there are some really awe-inspiring visuals in God of War that they're really great. Blessing posted some pictures of Elden Ring that look pretty good, but I could counter with the Ragnarok pics. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it could go either way, but I'm gonna predict God of War for this. Didn't they add it though? I think they're gonna add it. They're adding it like after launch, right? Like, shouldn't that already be in there? Maybe that didn't drop. I think they said they were gonna put it in, but Seafood should be on here. All good though. Yeah, there's a lot of beautiful moments in God of War Bash Ash. One of my favorite pieces of content is also just in the side stuff, so hit out those side quests if you're willing, because they're amazing. Best narrative. The discourse online about this game. Okay, so we have different timelines, so you may not have seen, but a lot of people were reacting to Elden Ring being on here specifically and talking about like, oh, it's not even like, you can't even follow the story. How is this on here? And then other people were like, actually, when you fucking and I didn't play I didn't beat Elden Ring. I only played like a few hours. So, but you know, people were like, oh, it doesn't even have a story, or people don't even understand the story. I gotta YouTube it. Best YouTube video of the year. Then the people were like, just because you didn't understand that when you see the pot in the ground that you can put together that whatever, and like the designers, brilliant minds, they like put all these little seeds, and like if you can't see it for what it is, and the time where you like, you know, you walked into the thing and you turn and then it was like a big crash, and like that story, baby. And then so basically it's just been obviously I'm oversimplifying, and I think they're good conversations to have, but it very much has been like the y'all know that chair meme of like Hulk Hogan and that other guy fucking throwing the chairs at each other. That has been the discourse around Elden Ring as best narrative. Not necessarily always malicious. I'm sure some people are meaner than others, but you know, the back and forth has been very much that share meme. I like the idea of Elden Ring being nominated but shouldn't win. So for me, I'm not going to say too much, because at the end of the day, I did not play Elden Ring at a length to tell you much about it in any way, in combat and whatever, I do think that there is a conversation to be had around the different ways that story can present itself and that storytelling can exist. You know, I mean, I think Unpacking from last year is a great example of environmental storytelling. You know, there are games that don't have words in them that are telling an amazing story. You know, Florence is very much like that. It has an incredible story despite not having like traditional storytelling. I think you can break out of what we generally think of when we think of what makes a good story. That being said, I was surprised to see Elden Ring on there, just because from what I hear about the game, I personally don't get the sense that a lot of people gravitate to that game because of the story. I think people can often enjoy the lore, which is an aspect of story, but I just personally have not heard a lot of fanfare around the narrative of Elden Ring. Whether you want to say it's environmental narrative, whatever. That's just the sense I get. Again, I don't want to take a hard stance on it either way, because I have not gotten enough information with it. But that's why I'm surprised to see it there. And that's also why I think a lot of people are surprised to see it there for that reason. But I would love to be like, yes, it should be here, or yes, no, it shouldn't be there. I was surprised to see it, and I was like, oh, this isn't even, just because, again, because I did make one tweet reply where I was like, oh, the game where no one understands what the story is. Because that was my general reaction. But at the end of the day, I don't know enough to really make a hard stance. So, yeah. But that was an interesting moment in the nominees where people were like, oh, how's that? You know, the Elden Ring conversation was intriguing, though it was very much like that chair meme. So I don't know. Make of that what you will. That being said, do we think Elden Ring is gonna win Best Narrative? I'm gonna say no. Whether you want to say it's because people have a closed-minded view of narrative, or whether because the narrative just isn't that good, pick your fighter. I think for both, either or one of those reasons, it will not win. And I think some people are gonna vote for Immortality. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna say God of War is gonna win, and I'm gonna also vote God of War though, because God of War fucking has a phenomenal story. Love God of War's story. How much recency bias is gonna push God of War in all these categories? I feel like recency bias, to me personally, is more of a reflection in like more long-term conversations we have. So like, for instance, when I say, like, I hopped onto like the PS I Love You questions answered for God of War and on the mid-mech show that week, and I was like, God of War Ragnarok, maybe it's recency bias, but I think it's one of the best games it might be one of the best games I've ever played. So when I made that statement, I said it could be recency bias because I truly felt like maybe I cannot make that claim or I struggle to say God of War is one of the best games I've ever played, period, because not enough time has passed for me to really get an understanding of where does God of War sit alongside my entire personal gaming history. That's the way I personally see recency bias falling into place. You know, I think if you make a top 100 games list and you put God of War in it, one could argue that recency bias is having you put God of War in there. Or like, even when we did those lists at IGN, like we often talked about, like, is it recency bias that we have, like, we put Control in one of the lists and they're like, is it really that good or is that recency bias? That's how I feel like recency bias factors in. Personally, I don't think for the Game Awards recency bias plays a big role. I think the only thing recency bias or time does to the Game Award nominations is if a game came out at the end of a year going into 2023, we might forget about it. So that's the way time plays into it. But I think as far as like, I don't think God of War is getting a lot of accolades because it's, the hottest thing that just came out. I think it's just really that good and happens to have just come out. So I think it's more of a coincidence than recency bias. Personally, you're free to have your own like thoughts and opinions or track trends or whatever. But I think God of War Ragnarok, freaking fire. And I think also too, like Elden Ring being on here is a testament to like, if you are good enough at that level, people are going to remember and talk about this title. Horizon, same deal. Horizon came out a little bit before Elden Ring, and it's on quite a few of these categories. Best game direction. Outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Well, obviously I'm voting God of War, but I'm wondering what everyone else will say. I could see Elden Ring taking this, but at the same time, God of War does have really fantastic game direction. It's interesting too because Elden Ring, and obviously again, my commentary is limited by my lack of knowledge with Elden Ring. But like I'm thinking like game direction design. I'm like that game where you keep getting lost, but people like the exploration and the signposting and stuff of Elden Ring. So like, I'm gonna, I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna vote and predict that. Oh no, God, will it win? Outstanding creative vision and innovative. You know what? I'm gonna vote God of War Ragnarok because you already know. I'm gonna say Elden Ring is gonna win this category because I think people really, the sense I get from the industry is that people really feel like Elden Ring was an innovative moment for open world games, and had like a unique take, while God of War, like, there's a lot of awesome things to God of War for sure. But I think people will see it as a little bit more run-of-the-mill, and it is generally a lot more traditional in its structuring and its flow and its kind of general creative vision. Like, it's like a little less unique. I do think there's a lot of things, again, no spoilers, that God of War does that are like really intriguing and like done really well and stuff. But at the end of the day, like, when I think of what a video game is, stuff like God of War comes to mind, while Elden Ring is a little bit more like free form and weird and like different and like, you know. So I think people are going to say Elden Ring for this category specifically for that reason. That said, too, shout out to Immortality, because I think there is a lot of creativity going on with that, is what I've heard. I haven't played it yet, but a lot of people talk about the creativity in the trickery, the subversion of expectation. Like, people have played that game, and again, I don't know anything about that game, so I can't even spoil it for any of you anyway. But I've heard people be like, do I need to restart to get, did I miss it? Like weird mind fuck stuff going on with the Immortality. But I think there's so much Elden Ring and God of War love that I think Immortality just won't make it for these. But in the elusive game of the year, we got Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Talk about the design of the game. Exactly. I want God of War to sweep so bad, to see Twitter explode. Do you think God of War should be nominated if it's a more epic version of the previous game? Is it really that innovative? Is it really innovative if it's just bigger? So I think it is. I think there is a lot of innovation actually in God of War Ragnarok. I will say, like, again, across all of games, it's nothing like ridiculously mind-blowing, like the ideas that you see put forth. But I think it does, like, while Horizon Forbidden West is more of the same, but like better with like up stakes. Like, the drama in Forbidden West is juicier, and some of the mechanics are more polished. God of War Ragnarok is like, there are, like, to use the example from like Leo Vader of MinMax, he's like, I have 3 friends that didn't like 2018 that love Ragnarok. And I think that speaks to the ways that it can be quite literally a continuation and yet feel so different, despite mechanically being incredibly similar. Like, I could drop a 2018 play. You could have, I say this all the time, you could have only played 2018 as your only video game. And if you play Ragnarok, you're going to like pick it up very easily. Like, again, you might die a little bit more at first because I feel like it's a little harder, but it's all the same movements, you know, the runic abilities. Like, a lot of the stuff is the same, and yet it's so freaking fresh and interesting. I can't praise Ragnarok enough. It's so good. Game of the year, that said, I'm going Ragnarok for sure, baby. It's so good. And I'm going to predict that Ragnarok's going to take it. I think people will give it to Ragnarok because, one, a lot of people didn't play Elden Ring. Not a lot, because I don't want to like say that like Elden Ring didn't get played, because obviously it got a lot of love, and it's on a lot of these categories. Clearly the jury's voting for Elden Ring representation. But to use myself as an example, I didn't play Elden Ring. I think people that played Elden Ring will play God of War Ragnarok, and I think there's a chance that some of those Elden Ring people will convert to God of War Ragnarok people, which before I played God of War Ragnarok, I was like, oh, it's going to be Elden Ring. And like, sure, God of War will be a little competitive because anyone that didn't play Elden Ring will vote for God of War. That's how I saw it shaking out. That's still true to a degree. But now that I've actually played and beaten God of War Ragnarok, and especially now that I've also seen people's reactions to it and that they love it just as much as I do, if not, you know, more. A couple people less for sure, but now that I've played Ragnarok, I stand by my statement of I think Ragnarok will win over some of those Elden Ring voters. Dude, I bounced off of God of War Ragnarok so hard. I was surprised. Kind of sad I didn't care for it, to be honest. I will say, Void, if you played 2018 and like 2018, I think you should stick through with Ragnarok for the first, like past the preview event. Because I do think they saved a lot of, like, when the previews dropped for that game, and I don't know if this applies to you or not, so feel free to chime in. But when the previews dropped for that game, the conversation was kind of more of the same, right? They're like, oh, it's good, but it's more the same. This is, like, when I got beyond that, I was like, oh shit, you saved all the good shit for like later.
If you loved the Ragnarok music, PlayStation is having a listening party tomorrow with the composer and director. The music.
Oh, gave me goosebumps every time it pops. I don't know, I didn't read all of it. That's cool. Yeah, I might need to check that out, or at least like dip into it after the Is it like on YouTube? Is it like, how can people watch that or catch it later if they can't tune in? Yeah. There was a lot of conversation on will Horizon get forgotten. I knew it wasn't gonna get forgotten. Like, again, Horizon's a banger. There are, I wouldn't say Horizon haters, but there's a lot of disappointment around Horizon as a franchise, and specifically Forbidden West as a sequel. And while I stand by many criticisms of Forbidden West, and I have many criticisms of Forbidden West, it is still a better entry than the first one in what is a fantastic franchise. And I feel like people are way more down on Forbidden West than they were on like Miles Morales, than they are generally on like Ghost of Tsushima. All of those games are 9s, maybe an 8 if you want to be really critical. And yet I feel like Horizon, there's like this weird baggage to Horizon where people were like, I just wanted more. I mean, it's great, but like, who cares? And you always kind of get that around sequels that don't like really innovate. But I feel like Horizon like gets the short end of the stick in terms of that. But all of that being said, like, it is still like one of the biggest, best AAA games to drop this year. And for that reason, I'm like, it's definitely going to be in there. People, you don't forget about a game like Horizon, not only because it's really good, but also because frankly, it's a big budget AAA game that's also well executed, right? Because you can be a AAA game and suck, you know, like, or not be as beloved by as many people on this jury, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm glad to see it in there. It's me, the world's biggest Horizon hater. People said that because of Marvel Spider-Man. I'll try it again next month. Hype for Scarlet though. Yeah, I'm glad. God of War is top contender, but Elden Ring has a passionate fan base, so it'll be interesting. Horizon can't get a break with release. Yeah, exactly. That's what I think too. Horizon's gotten such bad luck with that. Definitely wouldn't be shocked if God of War loses, but my like spicy prediction again is that God of War Ragnarok is going to win Game of the Year. But I'd be a little fun, even though I'm predicting it, I'd be a little surprised if it does. Elden Ring is like, I think Vegas odds. Elden Ring is at like, Warfront's kind of strong, but I think they have a way better chance. Anyway, but yeah. So that was me predicting and giving my personal take on Game Award nominees, categories, all that good stuff. Again, you can go to thegameawards.com. I can just actually, can I just click this thing? Will this take it here? This might work. I'll just take the whole link. Why not? It'll push you to Game of the Year, but now you can play Yakuza. I know, I need to get back. I really want to finish Yakuza before the year's done, and I'm running out of time very quickly. So that's a little scary, which Yakuza week 2. I don't know. We're gonna have to do something. But you guys can also vote. Again, the voting is part jury, part public. I think it might break down there's like an FAQ somewhere about advisory board. Now I'm forgetting where it's at. FAQ and rules, maybe? Award process. Yeah, so it's 90% jury, 10% public fan voting. Fans can vote for their favorite games on thegameawards.com or on the Discord server. So yeah, and then fan voting closes on Wednesday, December 7th at 6 p.m. PT. So if you enjoyed this process and you had your own 2 cents, feel free to go to the site and actually go ahead and cast your vote. You can log in with like different like social media platforms and stuff like that to the website. But yeah, that is the Game Awards happening December 8th at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles. Should be a really good time. Always excited to see, frankly, like who wins the different categories. I know people were like, oh, I'm just watching for the trailers, and like, trailers are cool, but like I personally really like the awards aspect of it, and that's what I'm most excited to see. Everything else is just gravy for me. So yeah, we'll see if my predictions and also hopes come true. For now, we're gonna go ahead and rate Sarah Pazortsky, who's gonna be playing Sonic Frontiers, world's #1 Sonic defender, playing Sonic Frontiers, so it should be fun. Fans can attend the Game Awards. Yeah, there's before I leave them, there is a It's not add event to calendar. I think the tickets are still on sale. Ooh. Where would it be? FAQs maybe? But fans can't attend. Okay, a limited number of public tickets will be available starting November 1st. Visit the Microsoft Theater box office for more details. I think this is the first year in a while that people could attend, like fans, because of the COVID and everything. But yeah, when can we start voting next community game? That's a good question. I think I'm gonna wait until I beat the last community game. But once I beat Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is hopefully before the year is done, that's my goal, then we'll pick. Well, I'm picking the actual game itself based on vibes from y'all, which like we've bounced around a couple different things. We'll have to figure out where we're landing on, and then we'll fill up the goal and then play that game. But yeah, let's go ahead and give a raid over to Sarah. Please stick around for the raid, even if you can't stay for the entirety of her stream. I'd appreciate it. Yes, Final Fantasy. Normally I do my like Patreon screen stuff, but I have to update that. I've just been so behind on stuff coming back from the break. So thank you for your patience on that. Yeah. Hey, Quentin Cass, thank you so much for the sub. 4 months. I appreciate the hell out of that as well. So let's go ahead and drop that raid to Sarah. If you don't know Sarah, you're about to get to know Sarah. Sarah is an amazing streamer, freaking partnered streamer, and she is my coworker over on MinMax. So go say hey to Sarah, and say raid asses when you get there. And as always, I will see you here next time, which is Friday, 3 p.m. PT for Pokemon Violet. Bye.